So we're in Atlanta, y'all. We're in South River Forest, also known as Walani Forest. That's the indigenous name. It's also the place where the Stop Cop City movement is taking place. Um, we've been, trying to keep track of what's been happening here. And so we decided to just come down and see it for ourselves and see how we could support.
I think it's a combination of city and county owned forest. It's full of like walking trails and bike trails that people ride through. It's in a densely populated. It's surrounded by a pretty densely populated area because it is in Atlanta, and it's over 70% Black. And so this is one of the few like large, outdoor spaces that people have to come and kind of unplug and get out and be in nature. So the proposed plan is there's supposed to be a monstrous, what people are referring to as a cop city, which is going to be a training compound. It's more than just a training facility. It's actually almost an entire like village, like city, where there will be mock buildings so that they can run training exercises, shooting ranges. There's some kind of explosives training that's going to be happening here, and so it's really moving in the opposite direction of where the protests from 2020 and the people who have rallied around the movement to
Protect Black
protect Black
lives.
lives. What the call was for defunding the police, and what we've seen from all levels, from the local to the federal level, is investing in kind of expanding funding for the police.
When we got here, we were just gonna explore the land ourselves, but fortunately, we got to talk to some people who have been a part of this movement and are like, staying on the land to kind of protect the land from being destroyed any further. And they were able to like walk us around and point out some things, including like, the tree houses that um, the police took down and some of the older encampments. But then we also just got to like walk along the creek and do some of the food foraging and just enjoy the park as well. So it's been a little bit of both, but I think that that's just how life is, right? Like you enjoy what you can, and then you also see, you try to find ways to make sure you can continue enjoying it, and future generations can enjoy it too. You find a way to live aligned with nature, and help create a place where others can live aligned with nature as well.
You just see tarps and tents and structures that you know clearly someone was camping there, not too long ago, but they're all in disarray and they've been torn apart and cut up. And, when the police have come through and raided spots, they've, of course, they do as much as they can to damage equipment, to cut holes in things, tear things up in order to keep people from coming through and using this land. And it hasn't only just been people who've been coming and like living and camping on the land, but also that there was a growing community of people who would actually, local people who would come and just hang out on the land and just like share a meal together and just enjoy the land. And the cops have kind of scared them away, and people feel like they can't really come out here as much anymore, because they don't know when the next raid is going to be. Um, the raids have been conducted by a SWAT team, by the way. So it's not just, any cops. It's the most militarized cops showing up and arresting people and tearing up the property.
So we just saw a biker go through, and he had to like pick up his bike and go over the rubble to continue on the trail because the developers have already started, I think illegally.
From my understanding, they don't have the land has not been rezoned yet, for like private construction or anything, but the developers have already gone ahead and started to tear things up.
I mean, after all of that protesting and fighting and giving of our minds and hearts to like really push for change. I mean, this year has been shown to go in the opposite direction, where this year on record has been the most amount of cop killings since, since on record. And um, the administration is funding cops at the highest level federally and in major cities. So like, other than, like, it's really like, other than the shift in people's minds and hearts, both in our communities and allied communities, like, we're not seeing real change in the systems.
I mean, essentially, what we're seeing is a doubling down on the system, and I think that's one of the reasons why, like, a cop city in particular is such a project. These like huge training compounds are such a threat to our community, is because they are building these understanding that people are not going to just continue to take it. We're not going to continue to just have our lives constantly interrupted or destroyed by like this over policed society that we're in. And so you know, we we have to be looking at this as something that goes beyond right now, and the direction that things are headed in terms of policing in this country is it poses a huge danger to us. And we started way out to encourage people to get outdoors and really reconnect with living more simple, natural lifestyles. And one of the reasons why we encourage people to do this is to get out and heal, and we're healing in large part from communities that are besieged, that are under attack in so many ways, you know um, that are used and exploited in so many ways. And so we see this as an extension of that. And we see that the work that people are doing around Stop Cop City is definitely related to the work that we're doing. And there's you don't have to get in any one particular way, but we just encourage you to find your way to fight the good fight, essentially, to build the society that we want to live in, that we deserve to live in.
There's so much of our lands that are, so much of wildlife and outdoors lands are taken for development. And that's fine. That's fine in some instances. But to take away this space, um, to take away this space and use it in a way that is not, like, at the worst is not going to benefit like the Black community, but more likely is going to harm it. It just, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
So at the very least, we figured we could get the word out and help expose this further. And this might be a good time to kind of check your area and see like what kind of development plans and how is all this police money being allocated in your area if you're not in the Atlanta area. And then, like we said, come through. I mean, and just kind of see for yourself and enjoy outdoors with a purpose.
Yeah, and we're
Basically.
we're total advocates of getting way out, but we're also advocates of like exploring and getting outdoors where you are. And that's one of also the saddest things I think about this development is to be in Atlanta, to be in like a Black city, in a like a Black area in this Black city, and to see their outdoors being torn down um, for a cop city. Um, yeah, it's really unfortunate.